My name is Mariam, but most of people know me as Missie Popular because of the brand of Missie Popular that I've been managing for the past 11 years, 12 years now. And today tukasema mkapata nafasi ya kujoin session ambayo tutaongelea swala la personal branding na business etiquette. So I've been in the corporate business since 2010. For 11 years, I've been working for different organizations, and I've learned one or two things that I can share with you today. And I think I've prepared a little presentation. Sorry, it's not going to be really that serious, but let me share it and then we go through it together. So let's start here. So it's personal branding, and we are talking about personal branding in terms of what is personal branding? What does it mean? Personal branding means you are a brand. The same way ukiona chupa ya Coca-Cola unasema hii ni brand ya Coca-Cola, ni the same way ambayo mtu akimwona Mariam Mdoe anajua huyu ni brand, ni Mariam Mdoe. Kuna vitu ambavyo they make Mariam Mdoe as Mariam Mdoe, who is different from Mariam Daba. So you are a brand. That's what we mean when we say personal branding. Now, how do you portray yourself as a brand? How do you stand out as a brand? How do you sell yourself out there as a brand? So personal branding is who you are. Business etiquette is how you behave with other people, how you behave in your surrounding. So those are two different things. Let's start with personal branding. What is personal branding? So personal branding is your identity, is what people say about you when you're not there, is what introduces you to people. It is what, when you are gone from this world, people will talk about. That is your brand. That is your brand identity. That's your identity. That's your personality. That is who you are. That is your goals. What do you value? What are your principles? That makes you a brand. So the whole totality of who you are, the whole totality ya namna ambavyo unavyoishi na watu, jinsi gani una personality yako ilivyo, vitu gani unavyovivalue katika maisha yako, all that makes you a brand. It's like kusema kwamba Coca-Cola chupa yake ikoje, rangi yake ikoje, kifuniko chake kikoje, maandishi yameandikwa kwa fonts gani. That is exactly the same way when you come to describe a person. That makes you a brand. So how do you get to be a brand? Can you start now to create yourself as a brand? You already know that you're a brand. Lakini, ili watu waweze kujua kama brand lazima ujipackage. The same way makampuni yanafanya packaging ya products zingine kama brands, you have to package yourself as a brand. But where do you start? Is first, find a niche. A niche, I'm talking about what is different about you from every other person. Kwa hiyo unaweza kama labda wewe uko kwenye kama alivyorehema kwenye upande wa makeup at Soko, but there's so many other brands that are doing makeup. How do you differentiate yourself from everyone who is doing makeup? That is the niche. They say, there's a say that says there is a big market, and then you find your niche within the market, but you have to find your niche within the niche. For example, kama Missie Popular, nilivyoambiwa hivyo nikasema, let me try to find a different way of actually packaging myself as a brand. So Missie Popular, I'm an opinionated kind of a person. I have opinions about almost everything. So when it comes to fashion, I have an opinion about it. When it comes to lifestyle issues, that is politics, traveling, everything that is lifestyle, I have an opinion about that. But how do I package myself as Missie Popular, who is known for fashion for a long time? So I had to repurpose everything. So now when somebody asks me, what is a Missie Popular brand? I just say it's a lifestyle brand. It's a lifestyle brand that celebrates life. I celebrate life, how? Through traveling, through good food, through fashion, through going to good places. So it's lifestyle as a brand. It's a lifestyle brand. So I'm not a blogger who does news. I'm not Milada Ayo. I'm not a blogger who does fashion police, like for those who know Fashion Corp or any other fashion police kind of brand. I'm not that. I am a lifestyle blogger who talks about everyday things that are happening in life. So find your niche, and within the market that you are, find a niche and then differentiate yourself within that same niche. I don't know if I'm making sense. Another way that you can actually go about it is creating a story about you. Who is Nadia Islam? Or if it's not you as a person, you don't want to talk your brand, you want people to associate your brand with maybe something that you do. If you are, let's say, a photographer, or you are an event person, or you are a lawyer, and you want people to talk about Nadia looking at what Nadia does, then what is the story behind it? If somebody is asked to talk about you, what will the story be? I have gone through the fashion police journey when blogging was really huge. And then I transformed from that to lifestyle art. So from when I was single, I was all about fashion, music, events, and the likes, the outgoing kind of life. And then I got married, and then my story evolved into now becoming a wife, becoming this grown up a little bit. And then I got kids, and my life is like the story now added a bit more. So what is your story? If we're talking about Nilam as a brand, what is the story behind Nilam? So where to start to create your personal brand is first look at your niche. Within the niche, the market that you're in, what is your niche? What is different about what you do within the same market? There are a lot of makeup artists. I'm repeating this for Nilam's sake because I can see now she can hear us, so that she get that aspect. So if you are in the beauty industry, what is your niche within the beauty industry? Are you going to do makeup like any other person? Or are you going to concentrate and go further and say, I'm doing makeup but using vegan or sustainable makeup products, organic makeup products, or I'm going to do producing makeups. I'm going into the beauty industry, but I'm going to actually produce makeup. What is that different about? What is the niche within the niche that you're in? That is the starting point. And then after that, what is the story? So if you have already found your niche and you're now starting to build your brand, what is the story about you? Build that, create that story, know it from within. After you know it from within, you'll be able to tell it authentically and people will actually embody it. And then next, when somebody is talking about you as a brand, that will be the story. But key is consistency. And consistency can only come if you actually start from within, from inside you. And it's not a forced thing. It's not a faking thing. That goes with another point that will come after, which is very, very key. If you say your brand is about ABC, let it be about ABC every day. So if it grows, it becomes A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, B4, C1, C2, 3, but not from ABC to PQR, whatever. It should not go away from what you started. Consistency in terms of what the story to remain consistent in terms of you remaining consistent, in terms of if you're using social media to push your brand, to stay consistent in terms of the regularity. How many times do you share your story? How many times do you interact with people? Consistency is key. So if you have customers, how many times you follow through the same customer service that you provide, the quality that you provide, everything should stay consistent. So consistency is key to actually make sure that you as a personal brand, first of all, people remember you. Third, people rely on you and trust you. That can only come through consistency. Are we together? Are we still together? Yeah, thank you. Another part that I think this is very important is to understand that failure is part of growing a brand. You cannot grow a brand and say that you don't want to fail, or when you fail, you just want to run away. It doesn't work. And I'm talking this from experience. When I started Miss Popular as a brand, it grew up so fast, like really, really fast. And the thing that I wasn't prepared for is to reach a time when I felt like I was not relevant anymore. You know, when the time blogging was really huge, it was like everyone early in the morning, they get into the office, the first thing is checking, what did this popular write? What did somebody write? What did 80/20 fashion write? What did me choose write today? So it was all about blogs. And then here came Instagram. And the shift was so huge. So instead of Missie Popular, me finding ways to evolve and keep the blog relevant, I was crushed. I was like, why do I write now? Everything that I was writing, people can write on Instagram, and then they get likes and comments and everything moves there. Who will now bother to come to a blog and read a whole page of blog of the same thing that they see on Instagram? So I stopped blogging for like 2 years. And that for me was a big failure, because now it's like, it's not there anymore. People do not associate blogging with the lifestyle that was there anymore. And I'm not the only one who stopped. The only people who kept blogging are the ones who are doing news, like the Milad Ayo, Me Choose, and the likes. But for us who were doing lifestyle, most of us stopped because it wasn't relevant anymore. But I think it was a failure because we could have found a different way of coexisting with social media. What I'm trying to say is, you as a brand, there are a lot of things that will happen that are within you or outside of you that might cause you to fail in what you do. Be ready for that and use it as a way for growth. Moving on, another thing to do when you're growing your personal brand is to be what you preach. This one took me a long time to learn. When I was blogging, imagine you're blogging about fashion. You're telling people how to wear and everything, but you yourself are still wearing like a civil servant that you are. So that was me separating Missie Popular brand and Mariam as a brand. So as Mariam, as a civil servant, I was wearing as a civil servant, you know, dressing in my normal skirt, like long skirt, shirts, like dark colors that I love, and my hair the same, whatever I want, heels, no thank you, my flights are okay. So I was that kind of a civil servant every day. And then somebody once, actually I think it was Flaviana Matata, who told me, Madam, you keep telling us to dress up and be all this like Rihanna and stuff, and you are writing very good content. We thank you for that. But how do you wear? We don't see that from you. How can you tell us to do that while you don't do it? And it's like I got an aha moment, like, oh, okay, now I have to actually embrace what I preach. So I started to shift also. And now if you go through my social media, if you go through my all of the content that I do, I have made a huge shift from the civil servant that I was to now embodied, like, yes, I am employed by the government, but that doesn't make me a civil servant. What I am is, I'm a very free-spirited kind of person that loves fashion. So why shouldn't I just show that everywhere? And I thank God, even my civil servants, my fellow civil servants have now embraced that. Like, they know, oh, this is Missie Popular, so she has her life of her own besides what we do here. Leave her alone with whatever she wears. So that is important. If you are a makeup artist, I come to you for makeup. and I look at you, you look worse than I do. You don't put on makeup even once, like your social media does not show you on makeup at all. I'll have questions. It's like whether what you're doing is harmful and you don't want to harm yourself, or like your story has to be really, really unique to make me trust you and rely on you to do to me what you don't do to yourself. Why should I buy from you if you don't use your own products? Why should I come to you for financial advice while I can see you're broke? So be what you preach. Embody your own brand. That is very important. From your comments, I can see Cesar saying, be what you preach. It's not simple, but necessary. Very true. Very, very true, because it's not simple and it's not easy. It's not easy at all, because sometimes it's easier to say things to people, to teach people, to preach to people, than to look inwards and to actually do it yourself. So most of the time, when you're doing your own goal setting or you're reviewing your own goals, it's very important to put one aspect there within your reviews at looking back at you, that, oh, am I actually doing what I'm preaching? How, or even doing a simple survey using the people who are close to you that you really trust to evaluate yourself. One thing that I know is a cliche now, everyone talks about role models and mentorship and coaching, but let me put it differently when I say about who is your role model. When it comes to personal branding, you can't wait. For example, if I look up to Michelle Obama as a brand and I want to grow myself to reach to that status, I am not supposed to wait. It's like, look at your role model right now and start living like that role model right now, not waiting until your brand blows up to their extent. I don't know if that makes sense. So if what you want to do, if you look at a certain role model somewhere, read about them, research about them, know them inside out, and then start implementing what they're doing right now at your level, at the starting level. The benefits of that is you have an early start to live up to that model, up to your brand, because your role model that you're looking at is the role model that goes with the brand that you are growing. So by starting living that brand now, by starting looking at role model and living how they live now, you have a huge advantage, because within 5 years, you might also be closer to where your role model is, because you have already started early and you've started growing with your brand. You've started growing that personal brand and embodying it from the start. So I'm not talking about looking at a role model and then learn from them and then you say, okay, so it took them 20 years to reach where they are right now. So let me just start slowly. Okay, I'm looking at what they're doing and then, okay, within 20 years I'll reach there. No, look at them now. And then what they're doing currently now, that took them 20 years to reach at, start doing it now. On the same note, when you're talking about your personal brand, you have already found your own niche. You know that I'm in this industry, and within this industry, I am different this way. You are consistent about your messaging. You're consistent about what you do. You're authentic about it. You do what you preach. You look inwards. But can people say the same about what you think about yourself? That is the point I was getting at before. Can you use the people within your cycle that you trust to actually evaluate you as a brand? Because sometimes, especially for us girls, you know, we have a tendency of, if you want to measure, if you go shopping, for example, most of the time, something that you pick without measuring, You might pick something that is smaller than your actual size because we tend to have a certain perception about ourselves that sometimes is not accurate. So it's easier if you use the people that are around you that you trust to actually tell you the truth. And I insist, people that you trust to give you positive feedback, to give you truth about yourself, so that they can tell you exactly how they see you as a brand, so that what you see yourself can actually be the same with what they say. And if it's not the same, if what they see you is not the same with what you see, how you see yourself, then you have room to actually dig deeper and evaluate like the truth. Oh, so this is how people see me, but this is how I see myself. Where is the communication breakdown? So it's very important, but find people that you trust, people who can actually tell you the truth and not hurt you. Yeah. The most important part when you're creating your personal brand of who you are, how you want people to see you, how people talk about you when you're not in the room, how you sell yourself and everything. Whenever you're growing this brand, always have one thing at the back of your mind. You are creating a legacy. Our personal brands are what I would say is not an obituary, is what is that thing that they read when you're dead? Yeah, that. So if I look back at a good example that helps me is looking at the late Ruge, the guy who was from Clouds. When Ruge died, that's when a lot of people got to know about him beyond Clouds. And to me, that is a personal brand that left a legacy that will not die with him. Because when he died, that's when you get to hear people talking about, when I joined the music industry, I got to Dar es Salaam, I didn't have a place to stay, I didn't even have clothes to wear. He actually took a trouser from his closet, gave it to me to go for this event. He actually gave me money for transport to go to the studio. Oh, he just helped me to do this and that and that. So you get to understand the personal brand of Ruge through people, how people talk about him. That's what we say, how do people talk about you? What will people say about you? And the legacy is there. So you as Sharifa, right now, you're creating your personal brand. You are growing yourself as a brand. At the end of the day, what legacy do you want to leave? That should be very important for you to consider as you're growing the brand. The legacy I want to leave when I'm gone is for people to say that she helped me as an entrepreneur in the fashion industry, in the entertainment industry, in beauty industry. She helped me to open the door for me to grow as a person, or she helped me to open the doors for my business to grow, or she helped me grow or meet this person who helped me to do this and that. I don't want people to remember Mariam as, or Missie Popular as just, oh, she used to dress up, oh, actually her Instagram looked nice, or, oh, she used to write. No, I want people to remember Missie Popular brand, Missie Popular as Mariam, as a brand that opened doors for them to learn, to grow, to meet other people, to do something that is positive. That is my own personal legacy. Yes, Caesar, historia ya marehemu. So when you're creating your own brand, you have to remember, ukiondoka, historia yako itaandikwa vipi? That brand, how will people talk about you afterwards? That is very important. So that is about personal brand that I wanted to share with you guys. So to me, a personal brand is majorly has to have at least 5 key things. One, you must have a niche, your own niche within the industry that differentiates you from everyone else. So if we are talking about the same industry and somebody asks about you, somebody can be able to say a sentence about you that is different from others within the same industry. I am an event expert, but my events are different. So if somebody talks about me as an event expert, they'll talk to me about me as an event expert in terms of connecting the public sector and the private sector. So I create events that bring these people together. That is what I do. But when you talk about events expert as well, we can talk about somebody like Helen Kazimoto. Helen Kazimoto does entertainment industry. You know her as the fixer when it comes to entertainment industry. That is Helen. When you talk about Teddy Mapunda, who is also in the event industry, you talk about Teddy Mapunda, but the one who actually make the government sector shine. She does events for the government sector. That's period. So differentiate yourself within the same industry. That is a niche. Find your niche within the niche. Second, be consistent with your messaging, be consistent with what you do, be consistent with who you are. That is important. That is a second element that I think is very important when it comes to create a personal brand. Third, authentic. Don't fake it. Don't copy somebody else, because you will use a lot of effort to actually sustain it. So if you're creating a personal brand, look inside you, who you are, and make sure that it's bringing that out more. It's exaggerating what you already are, not copying somebody else, not faking, so that it becomes easier for you. It becomes a daily routine for you. The content creation out of that becomes easier because it's you. You're not copying, you're not faking it. So niche, consistency, authenticity. Be authentic about it. Fourth, who around you can actually tell your story the same way you can tell it. Can they say it the same way you say it? Or is it different? Find that communication breakdown, fix it, so that you can have one story that the way you introduce yourself as a brand is the same way people around you or people that know you will talk about it, or people know of you will say the same. Yeah. Number 5, every time you're creating your personal brand is all about leaving a legacy. So when you're creating a personal brand, remember, it's not just a brand, it's a legacy that will come afterwards. It's the legacy that you leave behind. So create a personal brand that you'll be proud of, your kids will be proud of as a history, your grandkids will be proud of as they come and hear it from their parents. So that is what I wanted to say about personal branding. If there's any question before we move to business etiquette, or I can just conclude all of them and then we chat with questions and conversations afterwards. What do you guys say?